The next Pope who was for complete shit in history is named, go figure, Pope John the 12th. And he reigned from 955 until 964. If the 16th century was the renaissance of shitty popes, the 10th century was the true dark age of the papacy. Popes during this time period were basically Genghis Khan with a prettier hat.
Nice. And a little bit more money.
Pope John the 12th assumed the throne of St. Peter at the seemingly tender age of 18. There are some rumors, I think, as far as my other research, that he might have even been as young as 11.
The Pope?
Mm-hmm. But back in the 10th century, people lived to be about 25. Yeah. So that was no excuse for the horrible reign that was to follow. Yes, gun, 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 gun.
Middle-aged at the time.
Why he sucked. Pope John the 12th was a notorious sex fiend. He had sex with women and men in the papal palace, and when visitors refused his attentions, he went ahead and raped them anyway. The same hospitality was extended to his 2 young sisters.
Oh.
He held massive orgies and took particular pleasure in defiling holy sites, like the tombs of St. Peter and St. Paul, with his sinful acts, meaning like he would rape his sisters at the tombs right there. This was a Satanist, this guy. This guy was a Satan worshiper. I think it's in this, I've done so much research on this guy. A list of crimes. This guy was unbelievable. A list of crimes, John, was he the 13th or the 12th? Sometimes there's a distinction because there was this thing going on with Pope Stephen, and then there was a Pope coming and go. Pope comings and goings were. Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna call him the 12th now. Was accused the crimes he was accused of. A list of them was included in the Patrologia Latina, which I assume is some list of some ancient text of absolute bastard popes. These crimes are too numerous to mention, but a few highlights include ordaining a 10-year-old as bishop. That's a fact. Having sex with his niece. I guess raping his sisters didn't really count as one of the worst things.
No, of course not.
Turning the sacred palace into a brothel. Castrating and then murdering a cardinal. Blinding and then murdering his confessor. Toasting to the devil and invoking pagan gods during dice games.
Well, actually, it says right here in the Gospel of Matthew that that's what the Pope is supposed to do.
Can I finish, please? Let me just reiterate.
Go ahead.
Toasting with his golden chalice, bejeweled golden chalice, because, God really likes it when you're rich.
Yeah.
And Jesus really went for that, too.
Yeah,
he loved
Jesus
that.
had one of
He
those
didn't bitch everybody
chalices.
out. A couple of times you hear about Jesus getting pissed. It was this very thing, this, false idols, false witnessing, just all this dumb stuff. So he toasted to the devil and he invoked pagan gods during dice games. And he refused to make the sign of the cross, which seems like a job requirement for the Pope, right? Now, I don't go for the sign of the cross.
Son of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
That's kind of, let's not relive his death. Let's rejoice in his life. God doesn't want you to have symbols or secret handshakes. Jesus didn't want any of that.
No,
that's a Catholic thing. You gotta
exactly,
get over.
but he's the Catholic Pope and he refused to do it.
Thank you. Correct. So, Pope John the 12th was no stranger to political intrigue either. He granted Otto I of Germany the title of emperor in order to protect himself from his political enemies. But Otto I began to take more power than John the 12th was comfortable with, and he conspired against his supposed ally. But Otto returned to Rome and deposed John the 12th from the papacy and installed a puppet pope. That's why I think he became the 13th as well. They kind of got another one, and then they skipped, and they got rid of him, and they skipped over him. I think that's what happened. I mean, it's so hard to keep track because there's so much debauchery and so much false witnessing and all that crazy.
It's almost like the music business these days.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's crazy. So John, after they installed the puppet pope, John the 12th fled into exile but gathered an army of allies and mercenaries. He returned to Rome, ran off the puppet pope, and took back his title. Otto the First mustered an army to finish off John the 12th once and for all, but he was too late. By the time Otto the First arrived in Rome, Pope John the 12th was dead. It is rumored that he was killed by a jealous husband when the man caught John the 12th in bed with his wife. By the way, his son became Pope John the 13th and died the exact same way. So Pope John the 12th was a son of a bitch. There's no getting around it. If he is not the most awful pope of all time, he is certainly in contention as the most evil.
It sounds like modern politics rather than...
Doesn't he suck,
religion.
though?
Oh.
Why would you name yourself Pope John after that? I mean, wouldn't that be like, I don't know, it's like a stain. It's like, oh, let's forget that. You'd take it right out of the books. You'd forget about him. I mean, I'm not even going to bring up the fact that there was a female pope, and they all knew it. There was. Google it. I'm not your search engine.